The sound of Frank's boots on the floorboards always made my stomach churn. Frank wasn't just my stepfather, he was the man who turned our home into a prison. When my dad died, my mom and I were left with nothing. She worked herself to the bone at a diner, trying to make ends meet, until Frank came into our lives. At first, he seemed like a savior. He paid the bills, fixed things around the house, and even took us out for dinner sometimes. But his kindness came with conditions. By the time I turned 16, the mask was off. Frank was controlling, angry, and cruel. He insulted my mom every chance he got, calling her useless and weak. She would lower her head, muttering apologies, too scared to fight back. And me? I became his next target. I was beautiful, I knew that. People always complimented my deep brown eyes, high cheekbones, and the smooth caramel tone of my skin. My curvy figure, with wide hips and a tiny waist, often drew attention, even when I didn't want it. I started wearing baggy clothes at home, hoping it would make Frank stop staring. It didn't. One night, my mom had to work late. I was in bed when I heard my door creak open. Frank stood there, his shadow stretching across the room. "You should be grateful for everything I've done for you," he said, stepping inside. "Get out," I whispered, my voice shaking. He smirked and sat on the edge of my bed, his hand brushing against my leg. "Don't act like you don't know what you're doing," he muttered. I bolted. I ran to the bathroom, locked the door, and stayed there until I heard him stumble back to his room. The next morning, I packed a bag and left. I couldn't tell my mom. She was too scared to stand up to him, and I knew she wouldn't leave. I thought running away would save me, but the streets were no safer. At 17, I slept in bus stations, shelters, or wherever I could find a spot. One night, a man offered me food and money for something else. I was desperate, so I said yes. That was the beginning. By 18, I was working in strip clubs. The money was good, but it came at a price. Men treated me like I was nothing more than a body. I told myself it was just a job, but deep down, I knew it was eating away at me. Some nights were worse than others. Like the time a client pinned me against the wall when I tried to leave early, his hand tightening around my throat as he called me ungrateful. Or the night I spent with a man who barely spoke, tossing crumpled bills on the bed before walking out. I'd sit in the shower afterward, scrubbing my skin until it was raw, but the shame never washed away. By 19, I was numb. I hated myself, but I didn't know how to stop. Then, one random Tuesday, I walked into a coffee shop. I was in jeans and a hoodie, my hair pulled into a messy bun. Despite the casual outfit, my curves always drew attention, and I'd learned to live with the stares. "Excuse me," a man said, smiling. "Can I borrow a sugar packet?" I handed him one, and he stayed to talk. His name was Daniel, and he had this calm, kind energy that felt foreign to me. He didn't ask for anything. He just listened. We met a few more times after that. Coffee turned into long conversations about books, movies, and life. For weeks, I kept my past hidden. I was sure he'd leave if he knew the truth. But eventually, I told him. I told him about Frank, the nights on the streets, the clubs, and the men. I expected him to walk away, but he didn't. "Nina," he said, his voice steady, "your past doesn't scare me. Grace is bigger than anything you've done or anything that's been done to you." I didn't believe him at first. How could grace cover all of that? But Daniel didn't give up on me. He showed me what love and forgiveness looked like, even when I couldn't forgive myself. Living my old life wasn't easy. There were setbacks, nights when I doubted myself, and whispers from people who knew who I used to be. But Daniel stood by me through it all. A year later, I stood in a small church, wearing a white dress I never thought I deserved, marrying the man who saw what in me when I couldn't. Now, I work with women who feel trapped, just like I once did. I tell them that grace can reach even the darkest places. My past didn't disappear, but it doesn't define me anymore. It's proof that no matter where you've been, redemption is possible.